if you're going to be successful, you have to always understand who or what is our competition, and then you have to fight against that competition. At Eastlake, our competition are our own standards. Our own standards of what type of coaches we want to hire, how we want them to interact with the kids. But a big part of our standards are our culture, the culture of our space on the Eastlake fields. We believe in the importance of culture, and we believe in the importance of a welcoming culture. Dan Coyle wrote a book called The Culture Code, in which he explained what good culture actually is, and that it has three elements. Those three elements are safety, a willingness to admit mistakes, and a story. I'm going to kind of explain to you how we go about that. At West Florida Flames, Eastlake, when you walk onto the field on a practice night, there's a feeling of safety as you walk through those gates. It's like there's a sign at those gates that says "Welcome home." We try to make it feel like the second home of the kids. And so what I mean by safety is more than just the physical safety of, bad guys aren't going to get you. It's more than that. It's the safety of knowing that you're not going to be made to feel stupid or less than what you're capable of at our field. That feeling of safety leads to a connection between players. It leads to a connection between teams. It leads to connections within the coaching staff. Coaches try to help one another. Teams try to help one another. There's a feeling of safety, and safety leads to connection. Admitting mistakes is a huge part of building a good culture, and we readily admit mistakes. I mean, we make a lot of them. Everybody does, though. I mean, it's not a question of do you make mistakes. The question is, are you open to admitting them, and then what are you going to do about them afterward? But if you're open, if you have a culture of admitting mistakes, then people end up sharing risk with one another. They'll take a risk together because they know they're not going to get blamed for something by the person next to them. If there's a blame culture or an I'm better culture, then people won't take risks because there feels like people are in competition with one another. We're not in competition with one another. We're in competition against a standard. The standard is to have a really good, healthy culture. That's the standard, and that's our competition, is to get to that. A story gives everybody direction. And our story, we have a great story at West Florida Flames Eastlake. We have the story of the small town feel, surrounded by a lot of big towns or big cities, so to speak. We have the story of the staff at West Florida Flames who are level 5 leaders. They have a combination of humility, self-deprecation. That's a big part of what happens over at West Florida Flames Eastlake. But an incredible will for the cause, willing to do what it takes on behalf of the players for the cause of the journey of getting the players to, wring the most out of this youth soccer experience that they can. So the culture is one of our big calling cards. Safety, willingness to admit mistakes, and a story. Gives us direction and keeps us sort of focused. That story is our North Star. The story is, let's help raise these kids to be better citizens.